What about the story you briefly mentioned? I want to unpack this one, where you said you bought a warehouse for $700 million over a lunch.
It wasn't a warehouse. I mean, I guess it was. It was storage facility. Natural gas storage facility. Yeah, I was at the Lanesborough Hotel in central London, and I had been dealing with a man named Nigel for probably 8 years. And it's a good segue, actually. Just to my comment about dealing with people and not always being transactional, I would meet him every 3 to 6 months religiously. We would eat lunch at the same place. And I did a lot of business with him, off and on, and I helped him. He was doing, without getting overly complicated, I helped him with what he was trying to do. And I knew that what he was doing, he had the wrong view of it, but I didn't make him wrong about it. This is the other thing I hate about the Bitcoin people. Well, you should, and you should, and you should. And they're like, bro, stop telling me what the fuck I should do. Like, I don't ever tell anybody that. What I would tell him was, he would come to me and go, hey, I'm going to release some storage, and we're going to be oversold. And I'm like, oh, you think you're going to be oversold, huh? Well, can I participate? Oh, yeah, everybody's welcome to participate. I said, well, how about we do this? You think you're going to be oversold in this year, and how about if I give you $1 million, and anything that doesn't sell, I get to keep. But you're so convinced that it's all going to sell, that I would take my $1 million. It'll just be $1 million right over. You will have made $1 million over 100% sale. You just told me you were going to sell it all, so it's all going to be fully auctioned off. And now, I did that for 2 reasons. One, I didn't make him wrong, but I was basically saying, hey, I think you're wrong, dude. I think you're wrong, and I'm willing to pay you $1 million. And if you're right, you win. But that he wouldn't do the deal with me, told me he wasn't quite as convinced about how much he was going to sell. That was one lead I got from it. The second thing is he came back around 3 months later and said, hey, I have some extra capacity for sale. Oh, wow, really? You didn't sell it all, huh? And I bought it for like 10% of what I offered him. So that same $1 million, it was only $100,000. But what it did for him, I gave him $100,000 more than he had. I didn't tell him he was wrong, but I showed him he was. And he began to see, oh, wow, this cat came from nowhere, dude. And he actually predicted this thing. And he didn't make me wrong. I didn't get angry with him. 3 months later, hey, Gary. And 3 months later, hey, Gary. And we started doing a bunch of stuff together. I never lied to anybody. Like, I do not lie in business. What are you doing here? I'm going to shark the fuck out of your country, and I'm going to lower the price from 23 to about 6. And I was wrong by 2. And why do I do that? Because I figured out a long time ago, no one believes anyone when you tell the truth. They would look at me and go, what do you mean you're going to shark the whole country? Oh, yeah, I'm going to put a 3 billion therm shark on in this market. And they're like, that is fucking ridiculous. It was 3 billion therms, dude. It was one of the largest sharks ever put on a country in the history of mankind. And I kept telling everybody exactly what I was going to do because I realized nobody's going to believe me. They're going to think I'm doing just the opposite, right? Exactly. And when I did it, I'm like, bro, I told all you guys. Why are you angry with me? Yeah. I told you were oversupplied, period. And you are. So he showed up. We have lunch. And he said, look, we're getting ready to I'd been dealing with him for 8 years. We're getting ready to auction. This is 100% of the storage in one country. Okay, so this monopoly owned a monopoly position on all the storage of natural gas. And he said, we're going to auction this off to 4 people. I said, no, you're not, dude. No, I will become your biggest enemy. I'm going to go to the regulator. It's even worse if a monopoly holds a monopoly product. But if you sell this to Shell in an auction, Shell, BP, and Mobil, that's worse than what we have right now. Because now the regulator has to look at 3 or 4 people instead of 1. I said, how about if I just buy it? He said, nah, nobody, it's impossible, dude. Nobody's going to do a deal with regulatory risk, buying it. I went, I'll do it. You give me 92 days to close the deal. I said, what's your number? 555 million pounds. I said, give me 92 days to close the deal. Really? Yeah. take it back to Frank. His boss's name was Frank. I said, take it back to Frank. See if you can get approval. I didn't talk to my guys. See if you can get approval. 555 million pounds. Give me 92 days exclusivity to close the deal. We'll do it without any regulatory exits and outs, and the industry will love it because you got a trader running this thing. And the regulator's going to be able to come in and look up my ass anytime he wants. And he was like, I can't defend any of these conversations. And did the deal, man.
92 days. Why so specific? Just
Well, I wanted the guy to be able to take back something to his CEO and go, hey, they're going to close. We only have 92 days. Like, they're serious, dude. So, you just got to be at the right time, right place, and keep listening. This is why I, very rarely will nuke somebody. Like, if they're a bad guy, I'll nuke the shit out of them just to stay out of my life. But you just never know. Just because I had an earnings number to hit when I was meeting with him for 2 or 3 years and we never did business, to have some boss over my head or a partner going, oh, you didn't do a deal with Nigel. I'm like, yeah, dude, I didn't do a deal with Nigel this year because I would have had to pressure Nigel. I don't want to pressure. There's going to be a bigger deal for me one day. And, to be in that position, nobody else did it. I mean, you should have seen what Enron did when they heard this deal. Enron was like, what the fuck just happened, dude? Like, for a company like ours to own all the storage in one country, that is like crazy.
I was going to say, what was the next 92 days like when you're putting together the funds and make sure everybody's on board? Was it a tough sale?
Well, Chevron was a board member, flew to Houston, gave a 8-minute presentation on the deal. Chevron stands up and says, they didn't even care about the price. They said, they looked at Chuck and they said, anytime you can buy a monopoly position, it doesn't matter what you pay for it. Pay whatever the fuck you got to. Let's go. I'm like, I think we're going to do this deal now.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this short clip, check out the full interview here. And if you want to see more clips from this episode, check it out right here.